Salutations. Wanted to kind of take things onto a different level, different perspective, so to speak. As my perspective and my knowledge increases to understand my experiences, which has always been my goal, I'm going to take some of you with me here and what I'm working on, things that are going to benefit my daily life, at least knowing and having the knowledge of this. And it also ties into, once again, science, all right? Let's tie into the multiverse theory and more parallel universes and things of that nature. And actually, what would they be like in terms of nature? And taking this back to the pictures I've already shown you, I always try to go in sequence with everything that I've shown you in the picture. So let's start with actually what we know about our universe here. Our universe here is based on the spin, and it actually starts with the atom and the electron. The electron is orbiting the atom, the nucleus, and everything here is based on the spin, which actually takes us into the spherical as well. So this universe is supposedly spherical, and we can see how this spin goes not just from the atom and the electron, but how it goes to our DNA also is in a spiral, this spiral type of a formation, all the way up to the planets that orbit the moon, the planets, to even galactic deals are spiral, okay, and that same type of a formation. And for the record, that conscious quantum waves are also spiral. So conscious waves are spiral as well when dealing with things like dimensional distortions and things of that nature. So taking this a step kind of further is that this geometric pattern for this universe is the spherical, is the spin. So what other forms would there be for other universes? What would they be based on? Geometrically, we have things like the pyramid, the rectangle, the cube, okay, the amorphous, and also the tetrahedron, excuse me, the hexagon. And these things also take us into, okay, what these different universes would be geometrically like. And if you have just a couple of numbers off, the entire life would be so different from one of these universes. But then taking this and tying this into my personal experiences, all right, something that I know now that I couldn't explain before fully, what I witnessed when I saw this craft and saw it morphed into this, boom. I've shown this many times, so I'm not going to go into that a whole lot, boom. But then most importantly, it turns into this tri-pyramidal Merkaba. All right, that is actually going in a weird way in the sky that I've described to you. Now I know what I saw. One is that this ship, when it looked like this, had already technically went through the wormhole, the frequency shift, and was gone. But the energy imprint that I'm seeing after that's leaving the configuration is the unfoldment of the energy that it's using to go to its destination. So basically the destination of this craft is in another universe. And so often we say, oh, another dimension. But my understanding, really we're dealing with more universes and densities. And when you start dealing with another density, you're dealing with actually another universe to a degree. But also they're going to be based on these different geometric patterns. Like let's say, for instance, this one was based on perhaps something that was on the crystal, the pyramidal type of thing. And this is what this craft had to turn into for it when it returned to its destination in another universe for its optimal functioning capacity. You feel me on that? This is real here. This isn't talking about, I'm sorry it's not the secret space program and other things like that, but this is real information from something that this messed me up. When I was 18 when I saw this happen. And it sent me for a loop. And now I'm starting to learn the science that backs up what I saw and part of the reason why. So that's something to take into understanding, all right, is that the possibility that this was going into, it already was gone, so I'm seeing actually the energetic configuration of what it was turning into for its destination. Whether that's a home base or just another universe, but it's a different universe. And taking that a step forward, all right? Some of these forms that we're dealing with that I've seen on the craft, which is going to conclude these black boxes. Here's one. Here's another one. This engine, okay? This engine, oh, yeah, this is a good one. This engine's going to show, it's got, I've talked about it before, this fullerene down here, which is a hexagon type of a almost spherical fullerene buckyball, and how it was actually containing this energy and it was generating the light this was giving, all right? So that's one, but this black box, is a black box on top of that, as you can see. So this black box, if we're coming from a universe that is cubical, all right, so this actually craft could be designed around that cube as far as that is the energy source. Now when I say that, what are we really dealing with when we're dealing with materials and energies that come from another dimension, another universe, transferred into this one? How would it be done? It's going to be done in these certain geometric patterns that are native to that universe. And they're also going to be centered, so they're going to be able to function here. And I think that's why in these encounters, when I've seen some of these entities that are not as corporeal as you and I, they're kind of see-through, like they're almost dimensionally off, I think they can only unfold so much to meet the parameters for this universe. So when I'm seeing this ship come into focus, and it looks like a flash, boom, 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 it flashes and it materializes in, that's when it's coming through like this universe is a wormhole. That's what it has to adapt and unfold to, is to something that is suitable to function in this dimension as this. And to meet me halfway for the contact. Oh, do you feel me? I'm on point with this, so I hope that a lot of you have been following me for a long time. Thank you for that, but this is important because we're dealing with a mode of transportation that is going from one universe to the next. So you have that buckyball I just showed you that they're using to store an energy, and this is going to be life energy. This craft is running on life energy. So they're bringing these type of conscious waves, orgone energy, prana energy, from that universe to this one, and using these certain geometric shapes to do it. Now taking this a step forward, just throwing it out, something that was thrown my way, is that when dealing with these different geometrical shapes, and I've put a couple of pictures up that take us into the warp physics. And the warp physics, I think I've liked that gentleman that did that, is that he incorporates a lot of the science along with a lot of the Eastern philosophy, a lot of it. And it's interesting how it turns out when you start incorporating this quantum physics with Eastern philosophies and the science of breathing and other things like that. So I've incorporated several of those because several of those charts have these very interesting ancient geometric shapes that you can see on there and look that could all possibly be universes when we look at it in terms of not just how our chakras and our bodies can be formed, but as far as geometrical shape for those universes that are not based on the spin and spherical like ours. Because they think even our universe itself is spherical to where you can see backwards to a certain degree. But you can look that up for yourself. I just think that's very important when thinking what some of us are experiencing on these crafts that goes with the temporal aphasia, these cubes, these boxes, some of these different formation, these geometrical things on these ships that are possibly them bringing that from that universe to meet us part way on how did they actually meet us dimensionally? How did they meet us universally? I'm trying to describe that to you right now and taking you to a new modality of viewing this. We have to expand our parameters to keep this real and get out of this dark ops, SSP. I'm trying not to put that down, but man, that's really not helping me. It doesn't help me understand nothing. It's cool stories, but you know, we can tell stories here. Anyway, I'm looking over my notes real quick. Okay, tying this in. Sorry, I'll keep this going. I'm going to get this finished. Something I want to throw in as far as universal structure and thinking of these things. Actually, let me take that off. Now, I'm thinking about this in terms of actually how universes will be put together. And something I want to throw out is the Uranta book here. And on page 164 of this book, it talks about the super universes. And it claims that we have 7 super universes that compose the master grand universe. Interesting concept. And they say also that there are 700,000 local universes, and that this, which is one local universe, and what is it, of Orbitron, the super universe, but we're one of 700,000 in each, I guess, super universe, supposedly. Now, taking that and kind of turning it into what we just talked about, geometrical structures, and when you look at any of the pictures of Durant and how it describes these different universes, they kind of would describe it the way as like they're all built on a spin, like this universe is. I don't think that's correct. Quantum physics is showing that. So we have to take it a step forward in that. And I'll put some pictures up of what the Urantian grand universe is supposed to look like in super universes. It's always spherical and spiral, but I think that's this universe, not the others. They're going to be totally different, let alone the life forms. If you have just a couple of numbers off, or you have something that's based on crystalline pyramids, or cubical, or amorphous metals, amorphous gels, that type of a thing. It's a whole other thing going on there as far as life and what the creator may have done. So anyway, that's just something I think that's interesting in contrast with this book. So when they talk about this book and the 7 super universes, I wonder if they're talking about more 3D material creation overall, as opposed thinking in terms of universes connected. They're going to be these odd geometrical patterns connected. And it was thrown my way, I meant to say earlier, that in concept, that in some places where these weird geometrical patterns are connected, overlapping a little bit, that part is where the different universes are created within that, like an exo-space-time continuum within there, and new universes are birthed that way within like the Hubble expansion factor, that type of a thing. So they're expanding in that way, and more universes are being born. And that means that those universes would actually, I guess, be a combination, geometric forms of whatever these look like together in these areas that overlap. I mean, that's fascinating to think about this, and it made me state space and space formation is not what we think it is. It makes more sense than why these beings were always telling me sectors of space. It's just sectors. Almost sounds like Borg from Star Trek. Sector 005. They weren't ever telling things like, oh, hardly Pleiades or Ceres. They're talking about different galaxies. They're giving me things that are like that, sectors out there. And I think things that are correlating more to like black holes that are colliding, and these are being actually more galactic roots, and how actually these are like Dr. Shields says, the black holes, the MACOs, are actually the hard drive of the universe. They're storing information. So food for thought. That's everything. Just take this into concept. Please subscribe. I appreciate everybody that supported me this far. But that's just what I want to put at you, what actually multiverse construction might be like, and how it actually goes with some of these entities we're talking about that are higher dimensional, lower dimensional, whatever. But really we're dealing with different universes that are based on geometric structure patterns. It's fascinating. Look, I'm not a geometrist, I'm not a mathematician, I'm not a physicist, all right? But I'm trying to understand these things on why I experienced them, how it goes into our lives, and what it means scientifically, because this place is in trouble right now. We need all the enlightenment we can get down here. Please subscribe, hit the like button. Peace.